All right, and we are live. Let me just get us going on Instagram as well. So, this is Kitty Shambliss of Loving Without Boundaries here with our mindset coach B. We are delighted to be here today. Happy Monday to you, or whatever day it is for you as you're watching this. And if you are seeing this online, if you're not part of our online community and you are looking for support and a place with like minded peers, I invite you to go to our private community, which is on Facebook. If you do a search for Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy, Open Relationships, and Lifestyle Freedom, you can join over 14,000 other people who are looking for support if they are coloring outside of the lines of heteronormative monogamy, whether that's consensual non-monogamy, polyamory, relationship anarchy, swinging, open relationships. We are there to support you on your journey of living your most authentic life. And if you're already part of that community, we just want to say welcome or thanks for being here. We have some simple guidelines to stay a part of our community, and we are delighted to be here to support you. So with that, we have a wonderful topic that B worked on, that is confident decision making in CNM, which typically stands for consensual non-monogamy. Other people might also use the term ENM, which stands for ethical non-monogamy. They're generally speaking talking about the same thing. There's different schools of thought about how to phrase that, but either way, that's what we're talking about. So with that, I would love it, B, if you would get us started off, and I appreciate you being here.
Of course, it's my honor, and happy Monday, everyone. And yeah, this is another highly relevant topic to consensual non-monogamy that we talk about today, is how we make decisions, how we can make confident decisions, what might be some of the growth edges that could contribute, as Kiri, you phrased it, to living our most authentic lives. So I want to start us off that it's such a fascinating, at least it was fascinating for me to find out that based on how we define decisions and based on individual circumstances, what research shows is that we tend to make from thousands to tens of thousands of decisions per day. And that's a lot of decisions. When it comes to grouping these decisions, we can put them into three main categories. One is the micro decisions that really run mostly outside of our conscious awareness. They come from the subconscious. They're very automatic. For example, how we adjust our body posture, our tone of voice in the moment, or what specific words we use. Then there are routine decisions as well that generally are a little bit more conscious, but still have a lot of subconscious and automated parts. For example, what route to take for work, what clothes to wear, and what to have for breakfast. And there come the really highly significant decisions, which are like really substantial decisions that need a lot of consideration and conscious thought going into them, and they can have really big impact on our lives. For example, financial decisions around career, health, and relationships. And with consensual non-monogamy, when there are so many moving parts and so many people whose needs need to be considered, we are constantly bombarded with those situations when we need to make these significant decisions that can have a huge impact on our relationship satisfaction and the satisfaction of other people as well. So, for example, you are already practicing these lifestyles, you know these type of decisions like boundaries, time management, agreements, how we come out, how we handle kids, metamors, deciding about relationship dynamics. So there's a lot at stake. And what can surface in the lifestyle, even if we thought before or had proof of concept that before entering the lifestyle, we were really great and confident creating decisions. We were okay managing high-risk decisions and their consequences, so adjusting our strategy if a decision turned out to be bringing an outcome that's not ideal. This lifestyle can push us to our perceived limits. And we can feel really powerless and thinking and overwhelmed that, how are we going to make a right decision here? So we can be overrun by the fear of making the wrong decision, the fear of change, fear of missing out, and also fear of failure and fear of success. So considering all this, it's really important to put it under the microscope and just examine where we can grow when it comes to our decision-making process. So again, to live our most authentic lives with the really amplified level of satisfaction. So what? Oh, sorry. Did you mean to say anything, Kitty? I
Oh,
didn't
keep
hear
going
that.
until you're ready. Yeah.
Okay, right. So the most characteristic trait of decision making that I've definitely experienced in my life, and I can see it in the community as well, is a pattern. And there's no shaming and blaming around that. It's just simply important to have the awareness around it. Is when decisions get made based on temporal feelings, so feelings that are come and go, and they're not in alignment. If we examine them further, they're actually not in alignment with our highest values and our long-term relationship goals. And I don't only mean decisions that come from a place of fear, anger, frustration, resentment, wanting to retaliate, or powerlessness, but I'm also meaning the decisions that come from a place of excitement. For example, when we experience new relationship energy, when we let our emotions lead our decisions versus our long-term values and long-term relationship goals, what can happen is that regret can surface after a while, and also resentment. What we do to ourselves, sadly, is and unconsciously, is that we limit ourselves to one perspective, the perspective of that one particular emotion, and sometimes we can lose sight of the bigger picture, lose sight of the three entities of the relationship: you, me, and the relationship itself. That can spiral into conflicts and sometimes, sadly, into relationship dissolution as well. So these are the few points that I wanted to start us off.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful way to start us off, B. And I think this is an incredibly important topic because I see this all the time that people are reaching out to me for help. They know that they need some guidance, they know that they are struggling, yet they're still on the fence. They're not ready to make a decision to actually get that help. And what I can share with you here is that I've seen time and time again, both from a coaching perspective, but just also in my personal life, that all decision making precedes any change. We don't have any change in our lives at all until we make a defiant commitment to create that change, because otherwise we're just kind of dabbling, we're just kind of being mamby-pamby about it, and coming from that energy of either apathy or indifference, that's not where positive change gets created. You need the fuel, the energy of, as B said so beautifully, of excitement, of hopefulness, because from those energies, that's where we can get into positive action and start leaning into abundance and gratitude and love and joy. Once we start also seeing progress, so that progress begets more progress, success begets more success. So once you get into motion, and motion still starts up here with our psychology of making that decision that you deserve to be in healthy relationships, or you deserve to live your most authentic life, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. So yeah, I just want to underscore that decision making precedes change. Otherwise it becomes easy to get paralyzed by indecision, staying stuck, and from there we can start to go down into a sense of hopelessness, despair, sadness, that victim mentality. And from that place, it is incredibly difficult to move, because we're not feeling empowered. We're feeling very disempowered when we're in that state. So that decision is incredibly, incredibly important. And as B was saying, like, the more confidently you can make that decision, the more that actually adds jet fuel to moving forward as well. So I just definitely wanted to touch on that. And I really, again, just want to thank you for this important topic. And I'll give the microphone back over to you, B.
Yeah, that was such an important point, Kitty, that you highlighted the congruence with our decisions, like first making that defiant decision, so that 80-20% that we keep talking about, that 80% of mindset is what matters. And I want to give you just one sentence, give you all that is so powerful, that the power is not in tools, the power is in people. So when we're unable to really make that defiant decision, what can happen is that we keep looking for tools, like how could we manage our consensual non-monogamous relationships, how could we manage our anxiety. But what it does is that we keep staying in ambiguity, we keep staying in the stuck, because the tools in themselves are not enough. We have to put the whole person behind those tools, as Kitty, you were saying, that we execute on those particular strategies. I said it before that all the best skills in the world, for example, in embodied nonviolent communication, won't deliver us 100% result if our mindset is not aligned, if we don't really know where our blocks are and what our growth edges are, and we move beyond that and get our psychology in alignment. And what else can happen is sadly sometimes we can miss the skill set or not have the skill set built yet when we enter into consensual non-monogamy that would help us co-create decisions powerfully with our partners. And again, that is quite common because we're not really taught how to create relationship health and how to co-create outcomes with each other. So sometimes this simple lack of skill set, that I don't specifically know the steps that could help us co-create really powerful agreements, can be one of the blocks in creating those powerful decisions. Sometimes what can happen is we can't agree how we're going to decide, or other things can show up in a dynamic. For example, some people wants to dominate the decision-making process, or it's going to become my way or my highway type of dynamic. Or it's also possible that if we don't stop our patterns, our disempowering patterns, then we're going to make decisions based on past failures and mistakes, for example, that can really hinder our relationship satisfaction. New example could be when, for example, I have the belief that I keep making wrong decisions, so I let my partner make all the decisions. And then I feel resentment and I blame because I can't get aligned with those decisions, but I feel powerless to co-create decisions that are really relevant to our relationships. Or it's also possible that I automatically agree to decisions because, again, I might feel that my needs don't matter as much and I need to fold in. So there can be really widespread consequences coming from this, because it can affect how we set boundaries, how we create agreements together, how we co-create as a team, for example. And that can, if that doesn't happen, the beautiful, powerful co-creation, then conflict's gonna follow, violated agreements gonna follow, and a lots of stress that could be avoidable if we really build up the skill set. So I want to highlight that it boils down to skill set simply, and skill set can be built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was so incredibly powerful to highlight that we talk, like you said, so much about that in this journey. You can learn skills, you can learn strategies, you can get a framework for how to live your most authentic life, even when you're practicing consensual non-monogamy. But that's still only 20% of the equation. 80% is the psychology, what's happening between your ears, so to speak. And that's where the decisions come from. It comes from your thinking and you getting really, really clear about why this is important to you to make this decision. Because I think another thing that's really important to mention is that even not making a decision is still a decision. It's a decision to stay stuck. It's a decision to not move forward. It's a decision to kind of sit in maybe that frustration of not knowing what to do on how to move forward. That's still a decision. So it's a decision to delay your progress, but that's usually not what people want. I mean, people usually do want to make progress in their lives, but it does take effort. It does take getting into action, but so does anything in life that's worth having, right? So I think that's really important to remember too, that that there is such empowerment in making that decision, and there's lots of different ways to move through that. So some things in terms of making a decision, some questions you can ask are, what is the worst thing that can happen if I do move forward with this decision, right? And to game that out, what's the best thing that can happen by defiantly making this decision and following through with it? What are the positive benefits that can come from that? What are any potential what are some of the consequences of not moving forward, of not making a decision, of staying stuck? So another great question is, this is a powerful one. One of my friends recently said this is a face melting question, which is, what am I not willing to regret when I am looking back over the course of my life? That can often really help with making a decision, because when we think of it in terms of regrets and being on your deathbed, like, what are you not willing to regret? That could be what you didn't do, and it could also be things that you do move forward with that you wish that you hadn't, right? So our decisions, our life is simply a sum of all the decisions that we've made throughout our lives, including little decisions. Right now, for example, I'm working with a fitness coach, and I'm working to get my fitness at a new level. And it's every single day we're making like hundreds of decisions. What am I going to put in this coffee mug, right? What am I going to have for breakfast? When am I going to eat? Am I going to go to the gym today? Am I going to go for a walk? Like, all of those decisions are incredibly important and define who you are. That's just one example using the metaphor of physical fitness and physical health. But when we're talking about your relationships, we're talking about your emotional health, your mental health. And yes, that does affect your physical health too, because a lot of people come to me saying they are in stressful situations. Their life feels absolutely chaotic. They feel tons of drama and upset in their lives. And that takes a toll on your health. So even though a lot of people don't realize when they think about relationships that affects their health, but it absolutely does. And again, so those cumulative decisions that we make over the course of our lifetime that make all the difference here. So just wanted to underscore that as well. And I'd love to give the mic back over to you, B.
That was awesome, Kiri. And I want to anchor something that you just did here. You gave us all quite a lot empowering questions. And I believe we already had a Facebook Live on asking empowering questions and why they're so important. And I really loved how you connected them to decision making, because that's one of the main elements of making powerful decisions, is us to cultivate the ability to build that particular skill set, to be able to ask empowering questions. So not questions like, why is this always happening to me? And why are people always behaving like this? So so to turn it around, and how can I win here? How can I find solutions here? Who do I need to turn to find the solutions, for example? And that can open up perspective for us. So instead of that stuckness that I'm thinking I feel powerless to do anything about my life or relationships, I become the creator through asking empowering questions. So instead of the actor who's being tossed around, I become the director of my life and my life experiences. So I really love that you brought that up, Kiri. It's beautiful. You're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, I was typing, so I didn't want people to hear me typing. But yeah, thank you for underscoring that. Yeah, so I'd love to, we can start to wrap this call up, but I really love everything that you shared there. So know that everything we're talking about is solvable. You can ask, as we were saying, some great questions to clarify, what are your values? What are your priorities? What are your most cherished needs here? What is the thing that you don't want to deeply regret, either not doing or not showing up for either yourself or your loved ones? What is the area of your life that you really truly know that you need to improve, and why? Why is that important to you? That can really help you get more clarity so that you can make, as we were saying, a confident, empowered decision, and you can develop a decision-making framework that we've kind of touched on here. And as B was saying too, you can also make sure to be stepping into compassion and empathy for yourself, knowing that there are no perfect decisions, because we can get into perfectionism sometimes, and remembering that there is no perfect decision, quote unquote, that can give you the courage to move through any fear or any procrastination or hesitation so that you can start to move forward. And one thing I can say is sometimes I will procrastinate and tell myself a story that's not true, that whatever that task is, it's going to take me so long, it's going to take forever. And a lot of times when I go to do that task, it takes me like a 20th of the time that I thought it was going to take. So it's just another, and every time I do that, I'm like, Kitty, you got to remember, like when you are procrastinating, like remember, it only takes a fraction of the time I'm usually telling myself. And when I'm done, I feel fantastic. So again, remembering how you're going to feel when you make that powerful decision towards your goals is another great way to move forward. So if what we're saying is resonating with you, if you want to make a powerful decision to make your life the best it possibly can be, if you realize that you can't figure out your challenges on your own in your relationships or in living your most authentic life, and you're like, yes, I do want help. I at least want to have a conversation to see what that looks like. I invite you to go to that link, lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. That takes you right into my calendar. Just pick a time slot there that works for you. And there'll be a brief form for you to fill out that just gives me some context for a conversation so we can really hit the ground running with our talk there. And then we'll simply get on that call and I will see if we're a fit to work together, if this is the right time. And if it is not the right time, you have my word that I will do my best to steer you in the best direction for you. So you have nothing to lose. It's a free breakthrough session that I offer to see who I can help and if this is the right time. So with that, I will leave it there from my side. B, is there anything you'd like to sign off with here?
Yes, I want to close us with one thing that's important to highlight, that it is again possible to build relationship skills when it comes to decision making, so that we can make our decisions from a place of I'm capable, I feel confident, and I have clarity. So remember that we can have guesswork, hard work, and framework. And what helps us with a framework is building certain skill sets. So I really want to leave you with that positive outlook that it's absolutely possible to create an empowering decision-making framework when it comes to consensual non-monogamy. And as per usual, I'm going to leave you with a few self-reflecting questions that I'm also going to post under this video as well. Kitty, are we still have time for us to go through those few questions?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, thank you. So first question is, what are my most important values? What matters most to me in my relationships? So that's question one. We already touched on values. Question two, how do I create and co-create decisions in my CNM relationships? So what specific steps, and are they working for me? Question three, how do I talk to my partners about my decisions? Once I made a decision, is there a better way to do this? Question number four, imagine how it would feel to be confident and capable when it comes to your decision making. What might you need to learn or let go of in order to feel this way about your decision making?
Beautiful. Thank you so much, B. Those were wonderful, amazing questions. So with that, we can leave it here and just say, know that we love you. We care about you. If you're not part of our community, please come on over. And in the meantime, that, by the way, that community again is on Facebook at Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy Open Relationships and Lifestyle Freedom. You also can go to our website and get on our mailing list, as well as listen to the podcast, Living Without Boundaries. And with that, know that we are rooting for your success, and we'll see you on our next Facebook Live. And thank you, B, for your time and attention.
My pleasure.
All right.